Member Mathieu Eugene partners with Oath to host a community forum on how to respond to summonses.
I want to take the opportunity again to thank you. Thank you so very much for coming.
My pleasure.
It is so important. But one thing that I want to say, and I say that to the commissioner also, and I want to please give my sincere thanks to the commissioner. Many people, good citizens, hardworking people, educated people in New York City, they don't know what it is about. So I'm so grateful to you for coming to my district and to inform people about what Hope is about, what are the resources that are available to help people when they are, in this situation to defend themselves or to try to dismiss a ticket. Because people came to my office unannounced. They say, Council member, we clean in front of the building. We clean in front, but the wind blow a piece of paper. I got a summon for that. You see what I'm saying? So thank you so much. This is the first one, but we're going to continue to do more and reach more people.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Sure. And just to address what you were saying, how many of you feel like you now at least know what Oath is about?
And to argue your side of the case. So in America, you get charged with something. You always have a right to tell your side of the story, to have your day in court. You don't just get dragged off to jail. No, there's a trial, there's a hearing. Same thing happens with a little tiny summons from sanitation department. You get your day in court, and that's what Oath is. And we're here to see whether or not there's a violation. It says, you are charged with, but you're charged with it. We'll determine if you have a violation or not them. So it's maddening for me because I do press for, I'm the spokesperson for Oath. And it's maddening, I read these press stories and they say, oh, we're issued a violation. I'm like, it's not a violation yet, they were issued a summons. They were summoned to court. You have the right to go to a fair and impartial place to argue your side of the story. Because we're not just gonna take the DOB's word for it, their job is to inspect and is to issue summonses, charging you with allegedly violating something, but they might not know other extenuating circumstances, like the fact that you have a routine, the fact that you do clean, you've established this, that it was a really windy day, all these things. So that's what Oath is all about. Oath is the forum, the place where you go to tell your side of the story. And we always encourage people to participate in that process because 47% of our summonses on average get dismissed. And when you're talking about sanitation summonses, it's like 75% get dismissed. So why not try to get it dismissed? And on top of that, if you ignore it, the fines can double or triple. So you always want to fight the summons because even if you're found in violation, it's going to be much cheaper than if you ignore the summons at all. And then if you ignore summonses, you can get liens on your property, you can get collection agencies, you can get docs on your credit report. It's a mess. You don't want to do that. So just respond to the summons and state your side of the case and you'll see that it's a very fair process and we just want people to feel that it's fair and to know that they have a place where they can go because people do get ticketed. I mean, we see almost 900,000 summonses a year. So clearly not all 900,000 summonses are violations if 50% of them are getting dismissed. So that could be your summons getting dismissed.
Okay, so just to see if all of you were paying attention, I have two questions. And the council member will have to figure out a fair prize for who gets them right. The first question is, what do you have to lose by going to Oath?
Nothing.
Yeah. That's the right answer. Nothing. You have something to gain, right? Yeah. And the second question is, approximately how many summonses get dismissed? Let's say we're talking about Department of Sanitation summonses.
50 to 75%.
Yeah, but you said it first.
Overall, on average, across all agencies, it's like almost 48%. So no, and his staff is great. They contact us by letter all the time. They also send in letters of support. So for instance, they can't write a letter on your behalf. Like if you wanted to do a hearing by mail, they can't explain your defense for you. You're the one named on the summons. But he can submit your written defense with a letter from him stating, I know this person and I see her out there every day sweeping in the morning and, really give So we receive letters from his office very regularly, so his staff is great, and if you guys ever have questions,
And we have violations with our.
Oh, you brought about a summons with you. Okay, great.
Okay,
Okay, great. So we're gonna actually take
well,
a
what
look.
I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna give you my card, and, we're gonna email, you're gonna give me all the summons information. I'll take a picture of it, but we're gonna email tomorrow because we don't have our case tracking system here, and I don't wanna give you misinformation.
Do you wanna just, introduce yourself really quickly?
And tell us how you know about the event.
Yeah, my name is Nexa Paris, and I am the library supervisor for the Brooklyn Public Library, right in the corner of Library event.
Excellent.
And we partner with this office.
She's a good lady to know.
That's
Great.
wonderful.
Thank you for being here. Yes, yeah, we have a card.
And if you have some extra materials, I'm gonna send you with some extra materials for the library. Basically, our hearing officers are making credibility findings, so they're gonna determine whether or not you're credible. So if you have a really detailed response, like, I wake up at 5, I have to go to the store, I have to be there by 7 to open up, I clean as soon as I get there, or
Right, versus somebody saying, I don't have a cleaning.
Well, just
plan,
say
I
it.
clean
Yeah.
it."
Or they just say it wasn't my trash. Because the law is that you're responsible for your property. So don't use the defense that's trying to say it's not my trash, because that's not what the law says. Right. So then that's what you do. So that's what you do, and you should take pictures of where they say it was, and then say.
And what happened when you
Perfect.
what happened when you submit the
I
evidence?
still get billed, but I have to be responsible for this invoice. I'm like,
Have you participated in a hearing?
Right, through oath, oath tells
this
you.
is my first one through oath.
Okay.
Well, my
Okay.
Do you
first-
have a summons on you?
I didn't bring it with me.
Yeah, so what you have to do is before the hearing date, you can do it online where you can upload like 3 documents, pictures, or you can even upload video. Or you can do a hearing by phone and basically talk to a hearing officer over the phone so you don't have to take time off of work. And then you can email her anything electronic. Like when you go to schedule your hearing by phone, they'll tell you, okay, the hearing officer is going to contact you on January 10th at 11 a.m. at this number. You're going to give them your phone number. Make sure you have everything that you want to submit in electronic format. And then you'll be able to submit directly to them, and then you guys can have a conversation over what she's looking at over the phone. So that's a great option for small businesses because one, you know exactly when your hearing is going to be. It's going to be right then. They're going to call you. And 2, you get to have that conversation because they are making a credibility finding, and you're going to be more credible if she can ask you questions, you have answers back and forth, you have a conversation about it. Another thing to remember is that on appeal, you always have an opportunity to appeal if you disagree with the hearing officer's decision, but you can't enter new evidence at that time and you can't use new arguments. So you really want to say everything in the universe that you want to say at that hearing.
Which also means if you have any pictures,
Yeah.
submit everything at that hearing. It's not just, like Marissa said, say anything you have to say, but also submit anything that you have to
Because
say.
even though you have the right to appeal, an appeal is just a review to make sure the hearing officer came up with the right decision based on what was presented.
Correct. So
So-
it's not just verbally what you submitted, it's also pictures.
With the
What
whole
is-
record. They
what is
review the
that?
hearing record and
Yeah.
they'll say, no, the hearing officer, given what she had in front of her, made the right decision. You must respond to the summons, but when you do go, if you do go in person, I want you to know, it's not like a formal court. You're not going to criminal court. Our judges are not in robes. It's very casual. You can bring people with you if you want, but it's basically a person in a room, probably like this big, this corridor right here.
How do you deal with issues with the DMV?
With the
So we don't do moving violations and we don't do parking summonses. So we only do summonses from city agencies. DMV is another separate court. It's a state entity. So it's in the New York
So who
State
deals-
Department of Motor
who deals
Vehicles.
with that?
New York State Department of Motor Vehicles. Do people come to the library with questions about this sort of stuff?
Lots.
Let me take the opportunity to thank her personally because we have done so many good forums for the community.
Wonderful.
You know, she's a partner,
Mhm.
and I think you honestly, not only for the job that you are doing, you know, in terms of, you know, supporting the people who go to the library
It's great.
and make sure that the student and also the town, they have a place to go to do their research and to learn, but also for opening the doors of the library to me and to many other organizations who are providing good information to the community. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
And we actually do events called Resource, which is, we understand that the library, any library, is a resource, so people go to get information. And we actually do an event called Resource, where we go out into libraries and we'll be there for a day, and we'll advertise it in advance so people can come in and get information from us. And we have our computers there. We actually do address lookups for people, so when they come in, we'll have a little piece of paper where they can, while they're checking out their books, they can leave us their address, and what I can do is in our system, I can look up their address and tell them if they have any outstanding summonses. So we would love to partner with you on something like that.
Yes, we have incidences coming and say they didn't even know that we have outstanding.
Yeah, and outstanding summonses, like I was saying before, is a really big issue because that's when the liens start coming and then the creditors start calling, and that's when people get, and our rules are somewhat rigid on how you can reopen a case that's already defaulted. So if you didn't know that you had a summons, for instance, if it's past like a year or 2 years, we can't reopen it. So, but we can reopen something automatically without any questions asked if we get the request to reopen a defaulted summons within 60 days of the missed hearing. So when you get a default decision from Oath, the decision will have instructions on how to apply and tell you to do it immediately, because we will automatically reopen that summons and grant you a new hearing. So we do like to provide that service because time is of the essence. We need people to know soon after they miss a hearing.
Anytime if you want to, we have spaces that you can use. We have meeting rooms and we have tabling facilities.
Wonderful.
So anytime you just
Well, you have
email.
You have my card, and so we'll definitely be in touch because you clearly have an active library community, and I'm gonna send you with some.
So you see what I was talking about there, right?
Yeah, right.
Hello?
I know. She could be an audience of one.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I was talking about there. You see that, right?
Yes.
We got a very special person, with us, and I'm so grateful to her because, as I told you, to be a commissioner or a servant in New York City, you have a lot of work to do, and you have a lot of places to go to. So this is really something that we all appreciate, that the acting commissioner come over here today at this time. She was supposed to go home now. Get some rest. And I want you to join me to welcome the acting commissioner and acting chief of administrative law judge, Miss Tanya D. Richard.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. I am coming here from another event.
You see, I told you.
So it's been a busy day. I'm most times in the office. And I started off at Oath years ago as an administrative law judge. So that's my perspective, is the judging piece of it. So my goal at Oath is to make sure that our judges are treating you well when you come in, that they are polite to you, that they know the law, and that they write good decisions. And so you come into a hearing and you give them the evidence, right? You give your testimony, and the other side will give their testimony, and the judge is going to make a decision at the end of the day. And so what our goal is to provide a good decision, a fair hearing, to be transparent. Our hearings are public. We want you to know and understand our process. We provide a help center, and the help center has individuals who can give you information about how our process works, can give you information about how to get an adjournment if you need another date in order to put your information, your evidence together. And your contractor received a summons, both of you, for the same thing. Was it work without a permit?
For the general construction.
Okay. And so the law says you got that summons, you were served with the summons, and so you knew you had to go in for a hearing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You authorized the contractor, it sounds like, to go in on the hearing for you.
No, I didn't know that. What is in there?
But see, he's gonna, what he probably did, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
what he probably did was he went in with both summonses, went into the court
Okay.
and said, I'm here to represent him and I'm here to represent myself. And so either he had those two adjudications or they both defaulted.
And
Did you get a decision?
No, you know what happened? Because contractor never go to.
So he didn't go.
No, he
Yes.
didn't
So
go.
they
He-
defaulted.
But it
Yes,
was in his name.
yeah, his name, yes, and after.
I thought each of you had one though. You didn't have anything in your
No.
name?
No.
Then you went to
Oh.
DOB.
That's a
It
contractor
sounds like
name, the
they never
summons.
certified correction.
Mhm.
That this contractor probably got a summons in his name. He
Right.
might have gone to the hearing or not, but he didn't finish the process, so you got a failure to comply summons.
Yes,
Right, and
After that, DOB generated something because he may have been found in violation, but your property is still not in compliance.
Mhm.
Because they didn't certify correction and DOB probably issued you to the property owner, a failure to comply.
and they have the same.
And so, but you have my card, and I'm gonna look into it exactly to tell you what, but if the summons was not in your name, if it was in the contractor's name, he's responsible for that summons. He may have triggered something else by not certifying correction, which may have gone to the property, because the property is the thing that's not in compliance. But, and then that would be on your name, but you wouldn't be responsible for the contractor's thing if he's the respondent.
Right.
yes.
Okay, just so
That's
you
what
know
I
that.
mean. Yeah.
Right.
You know, he's a non-artist also.
Well, there's also an
He's
investigative
doing
unit at
big lot of
DOB that I can give you the contact information for, and you can,
He changed
report
his
them.
name on
Right.
different companies, then he worked, take money.
And DCA also does investigations into,
Yeah, if you need to make a complaint about the contractor.
so you have my card, and, once I have more, like we said, we both were like, this may be what's happening, we don't know until we look into our system and see exactly what was charged and what the history is on the
But the
property.
second set of summons, right? The second summons that came to you, your name was on it, your property?
I never received.
Nothing.
I never received.
We have all the information, I think we give it to
They give it to
them.
my office.
Yeah.
Alright.
So you're gonna scan it to me and email it to me.
Because I don't have the key, mailing key, I don't know what he's doing, whatever, but he messed the job. When he messed the job, then we have argo, and he don't come back to do the job even finish, because I lost whatever I pay him either. And because I just realized now when we have a plumbing. So before we have no problem, all the people, they have a permit pull up on that job, never have happened. Now, finally, we have a closing for the plumbing, final CO, and they came as the job is a rejection. They said, no, you have to pay this sum.
So just understand that anything that is issued to you,
Mhm.
as opposed to your contractor, you
Right.
have to follow up on it.
Thank you, Chief Judge.
Excuse me, I don't speak English very well, so I am Asian girl. I am a just come, or I'm come back too, because I was sick since 8 years. So now I'm come back. I want to do better.
I'm very happy for you. I've been
I
sick
wanna
for 8 years now.
tell to Mr. Eugene, thank you for that he's doing for the Asian people.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. You are a good man.
Thank you so much, thank you. And I'm very happy for you because you see you have been sick for 8 years, right?
Yes, 8 years.
You've been sick for
I
8
meet
years.
you first at the church Cotelou,
Mhm.
of the God Cotelou.
Of course, in fact,
Yes, exactly.
But I'm very happy for her because, for somebody who has been sick for 8 years, to see that she can be, she looks strong and healthy.
Because I don't know how to say that very well in English. Moi, j'étais en bas des combats avec petit moi en 2010. Et puis c'est là moi traversé vivre New York et puis mwen stres vin fè ke malade.
She's a survivor of the earthquake in 2010. Yeah. She was under the water.
Fè 2 semaines.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stress in
You
my
blessed, you know.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and you know, she was mentally and physically traumatized for 8 years. Wow. You're a very lucky person.
God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you, okay?
Thank you so much.
And you know my office is your office, is your home. Anything that you know you can do. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you also for coming here. Merci, merci. Okay? Okay, merci.
Eugene is a wonderful guy, you know, because
It's going
the
for
first time,
everybody,
yeah,
not
everybody.
for.
I meet him first time, you know, he came in my store, and I don't know, but you know, he just generally came, he picked up the box, mango, he buy from me mango first time. You remember, buy the Maki Mask?
Oh, yeah.
You've been always there on the Friday.
Yes.
So we meet you there. Rahim Grocery, you know that, you came that time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he came, and I know he paid, and he go very nicely. Then after that, I realized when I met him in the mosque there. So the community, because there's a lot of community there.
Very
So
nice.
we acted there, so that's.
And thank you for what you're doing for the district and for Brooklyn also.
Yeah,
You know, the Pakistani community in Konya and
right, there's
This is
a,
the
we are,
very This is to remind all of us, we are in the same boat.
right,
It doesn't matter where we came from,
right,
if we were born in the United States or not.
yes.
When you turn on your TV, and we went to so many press conferences, we elected officials, that's what we do. That's what we do. Council members, senator, Congress members, you know, assembly, that's what we do. When there's an issue in the community, we embrace the community.
Right,
Because we're in this all together. I came from Haiti, you come from Pakistan,
right,
you know, some people from Jamaica, from Trinidad. But the reality that New York City, the best city in the world, I'm saying that, you know, because I had the opportunity to travel many countries, Europe, anywhere.
right,
This is the best United States. I'm serious. For
Right.
any reason, I don't have to talk too much about it. But the reality is that New York City is a great city because of the contribution of all of us. All of us. And we are entitled to get, you know, to enjoy the benefit, also the resources in New York City, and to raise our children. This is our home. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter who you are. We want to see discrimination. They're going to undermine you. Let's say, for instance, the Jewish people are going to do the same thing. The Pakistani, the same thing. The black people, the same thing. The minority, Spanish people. Now, recently, we have been, you know, working together, fighting together against, you know, hate crime. You see, they burn synagogue, mosque, churches. Come on. They attack everybody. They don't discriminate no one. So I'm glad that you bring that. But I want you, when we finish this, at the end of this program, to remember that we are in this together.
right.
And whenever we get the opportunity, we got to stand together to fight against those type of hate crime and discrimination. And then New York will be a better place for all of us. Because when they attack one community, they attack all of us. If they can do that to you today, they can do it to this one, to that one, and to
Next
that
day.
one. And that's the reason why we elected official of government, we have the moral obligation, the mandate to fight against those type of situations.
Yeah, that's why we did
No,
this,
we have-
because many families tell us, oh, it's okay, forget it, it's okay,
No,
forget
no,
it.
we
So
gotta
we
say
don't
that.
let to forget it because he know we can follow. And the
Why you
rights
doing
of
it again? Because you know
everyone is
you let it
same.
go the last time.
Yeah, but it's happened, then you know, maybe next time happen with any other.
Yeah.
So it was happened after New Zealand, when it happened New Zealand, right, third days that
Okay.
it happened.
Yeah.
That's-
So anyway, thank you for bringing this, you know, and I'm sorry that happened, and stories like that,
And
we see
I know she
those
was
every-
crying, she said, we You know, we born here, we doing here, we living here. We never think we have the same rights,
But-
any other people rights.
Yes. That was a bad story, but I
Right.
got a good news for you, for the Pakistani community. You know that I've been fighting for years for a traffic light in front of the mosque.
That's the important part there.
I mean, for years I've been fighting for that, for
A lot of
years.
accidents there.
And I don't know if you remember, I brought the mayor to my district in 2008, the first time in 2008, I believe. I brought the mayor to PS6 right here, a few blocks from here, because I wanted the mayor to come to my district to listen to the concern of the people and to answer, to answer to the questions.
Right.
Because there are many issues, affordable housing, this and that. He came. And at that time, I raised the issue with the mayor about the safety of the Kunyayan Avenue with respect to the mosque.
Right.
And I brought the mayor back, I think in 2010, and we raised the same question again. And the mayor himself called the commission in and said that I wanted to address that, but that took so long. I had a meeting with the mayor 3 weeks ago. The question is, I said, Mr. Mayor, we got to resolve that. The good news is, the signal line has been approved.
Very good.
And we're going to have it very soon.
I appreciate it.
All right? So,
I know it doesn't have anything to do with that.
okay.
But yes, thank you so much for coming. It's not every day that elected officials actually come to our events. They help us announce them and they host them. So you have a very special council member in Councilmember Eugene.
Thank you.
Thank you. Acting Commissioner, thank you so much. Tanya, thank you so much. She's my boss. Alright? I'm working for her. Well, thank you so much. And also 2 of my staff just came also. Vicky, Victor, and also Patrick. Thank you so much.
The woman from the library, if you want some information, we can give it to you for the library.